If you're a live streamer or you live stream events or you're just trying to step up your multicam game, then the RGBlink Mini Pro might be the device that you've been looking for. A big thank you to RGBlink for sending me this switcher. I've been enjoying getting my hands on it, being able to test it. Been very impressed with it. I also want to say right off the bat, this video is going to look a little different. There's going to be a little less B-roll because everything you're seeing is coming right from the switcher. I've got a couple different PTZ cameras set up for different angles, and I just wanted to show you kind of how it would look and basically make this video kind of like a live stream video in a way. So it's going to be maybe a little less flashy, a little less extra B-roll, but I want to dive into it. So let's go ahead and cut to this close-up. You can see for our inputs, we've got, of course, our power switch here. We have our USB-C for our power here, and then we have 4 HDMI inputs for 4 different cameras or whatever you want that to be. And then on the end down here we have the HDMI out, which will send a preview out to a external monitor, and here is what the preview would look like on an external screen. Here's what your HDMI output would look like if you have it set to preview, and this would allow you to see all your different angles and be able to cut and see everything kind of at a 30,000 foot view for what you want to go live. If you don't have a preview monitor, they've got you covered, and they have one built in right onto the switcher. This is about a 2-inch little screen, and it displays all 4 of your inputs. I only have 3 cameras hooked up, but this is actually a touchscreen, and I can touch between these different angles when I want them to go live. And being able to have an option like this where you don't need an output for a monitor, if you don't have one, you just want to have it all right on your switcher, you can do that, and it keeps it very easy and streamlined. On the end of our switcher we have our USB cable, which this is what I have running to my computer, and this is what's running into OBS, and I'm recording there as well. But if you were going to stream anything, you'd have to use this cable to your computer. And then we have our USB cable here that I'm recording locally to my CF Express card. That's where this feed is coming from, and recording directly to this. And then we have our Ethernet cable, which is controlling the PTZ camera, which we'll talk about more later. And then on the end, there's a 3.5mm audio jack in and a headphones jack. I've not thoroughly tested those. I have heard that it's a little bit clunky, and I don't think it matches the audio up to your video. So if you want it synced up like this is, then you need to run your audio through your camera, through the HDMI, and then that mixes it and keeps it all in sync. We'll talk about the audio a little bit later. That is a lot of inputs and control points that they're putting right into the switcher already. Okay, let's look at the front of the switcher. We have a minimal amount of buttons here. They're kind of a rubber material, not hard to press. They're easy to use if you're trying to switch quickly. We've got these arrow keys, which are mainly used for the menu setting. You have a shortcut button, which is more for the PTZ function. You've got your different cameras here, so if you're wanting to cut between 1, 2, 3, 4, you just press those and it will cut to those cameras. You've got your menu button here, which helps you cycle through, and then we've got your joystick for controlling the PTZ camera. And then the last thing we have is our transition bar, and you can use this to cut between angles. So you can either touch the camera angles to cut it, you can hit the buttons, or if you want to have one in preview, so you can see I have the green shot in preview, the red shot is live. We're gonna cut that over, and you can see now this top angle here is live. I like the transition bar because it gives you kind of a physical sense of it actually cutting back and forth. All right, let's look at our menu settings. First, we're gonna go into our menu, and we're gonna hit picture in picture. We're gonna enable that, and we should have picture in picture. Yeah, there we go. Now you can see I'm in the corner of the screen. You can adjust the layout. You can put the picture in picture wherever you want it, center, side. You can even do a side by side, which I really like this for showing 2 angles at a pretty equal ratio, pretty equal scale. You can see both sides, both angles side by side. They have a blend mode, which is a little bit weird. It's kind of 90s vibes. I'm not sure when you would use that, but you have that if you want it. But having picture in picture is nice if you want to show yourself, and then of course another angle at the same time. The next one in the menu is the PTZ, and I will say I had trouble getting this to connect, and I was able to reach out to support and they were able to help me. So if you're having trouble getting your PTZ camera to connect and communicate to your switcher, please leave a comment below and I'll try to help you and maybe explain to you what I did to get it to work. It's a little bit technical, but it does work. And once you get it to connect, it's a really great feature. Let's take a look. All you do is hit this toggle, swipe over. You want to make sure HDMI 2 is one selected. That's what I have my PTZ camera coming through. So we're gonna arrow down to, yep, HDMI 2. And then let me switch back to an angle here where you can see what I'm talking about. And now from here, I should be able to adjust the PTZ camera. You can zoom out. There we go. Can zoom in. I don't seem to be able to get the focus feature to work. That doesn't seem to do anything with my PTZ camera. Being able to control a PTZ just from the switcher was a huge win for me. Obviously you can see some of the movements are a little bit jerky, but if it's all that you have, I mean, it works really well. The fact that I can control the zoom and direction of the PTZ from here is a huge win for me. Something I wish that maybe was a little bit better is that when you would hit the menu button, within just a few seconds it goes away and just goes right back to the preview monitor, which is not a big deal, but sometimes if you're trying to kind of think about where you're supposed to go or figure something out, it would be nice if it stayed up a little bit longer. The touchscreen works pretty well. It's very, it's decently sensitive. I wish it was maybe a little bit more sensitive. There are times when I'm trying to hit these top left corner buttons that it'll work. Now, of course, that time it did, but sometimes they aren't maybe as responsive as I would like them to be. But overall, I think the screen and the buttons work pretty well. There's just a few little things I'd love to see maybe be improved. They're not big cons to me though. All right, next on the menu we have, let's see, we got views. I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure what the views are for. In fact, I feel like they've given me more problems than not. I think they're more intended for shortcuts, because you can hit the shortcut button right here on the front of your switcher, and here, I'll show you real quick. You can see you can select between different views. I think those are basically presets for your different camera angles. I personally would not probably find myself to be using those. I think they would probably get a little bit clunky, but they're an option there if you want it. Let's go back. Next we have keying. This would allow you to key out your background if it's a green screen or a blue screen. I've not been able to test this myself, but from different things I've seen, it can be a little bit hit and miss as to how well it works. I've not been able to test that myself, but they at least give you that option if you see the menu already went away. But you can see here, they do give you that option if you are wanting to key out your background. Let's go back to the menu. You've got effects. This is for transitions, and this is where you can kind of have fun with it, I guess. I'm not huge into transitions. We're gonna go back to our menu, and we're gonna select here. You can see we've got our transitions. This allows you basically, when you tap for your transition, it's just gonna give you a nice crossfade. You can adjust that to be what you want. Let's try something different here. All right, so I'm gonna preview something else. There we go. I am personally not huge into transitions. Sometimes they're a little bit gimmicky. They feel a little bit dated, but if you like transitions, they do give you some decent variety to choose from. Next in the menu is audio, which is obviously a pretty decently important feature. All right, we're gonna go into audio here, and you can see I've got it set to where I have my audio as a shotgun mic above me running directly into my camera. And you wanna make sure that you have it set to mix. That way when you cut to different camera angles, the audio doesn't just go away. If you had audio follow video, which is what AFV is, not America's Funniest Videos, audio follow video is what this would be. And that would be if you have audio sources from different cameras, it's gonna follow that. We don't want that. We have one source of audio, and we want that to be set to mix. And then the other two angles you want to have as off. That way it's not trying to pull audio when there's not. And then you have your mic and your line audio if you were to be using it from the end of the switcher. I think it stays in sync and sounds better if it's coming from your camera through the HDMI into the switcher. And then you can, of course, adjust your audio levels right here as well. And I wouldn't move that too much higher than it is, because I don't expect the preamps in this to be that good. It's not an audio mixer, so having it coming from your camera is probably better or just as good. So just kind of leave that output mid-ranged or lower. All right, so next on the menu, we're gonna go to the second page. We have our video out. First one is HDMI out, and this one I have set to program. This would be for the HDMI out here, which we're not even using. And so that's, something we don't have to really consider there. HDMI output 2, that's basically what you're seeing right now. And I have it set to program, but I could go to preview. And now we can see the different angles that we have here. We've got the angle of me, and then both of my PTZ angles. And you can see when I use the transition bar, it cuts, and whatever's green is preview and what's red is live, and then you switch it back and forth. We want, let's say we want camera 2 in Preivew, and now we push the toggle bar the other way and it's live. So this is a great way for you to see at a bird's eye view what's available, what options you have to cut to. And again, if you had a Preivew monitor coming out of the HDMI output on the back, this is basically what you'd be seeing. For the sake of this video though, I like to keep it in program just to keep a clean output. And yeah, so that's how that works. Let's go on. You can adjust your frame rates. So it's all 1980 by 1080, no 4K for output. But you can adjust, you know, if you want 60 frames or, you know, 50 frames a second, 30 frames. Right now I've got it 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames a second. The next thing on the menu is recording, and this is a feature that I really like. Being able to record directly to your SD card is really great. The fact that I can record directly to this memory card makes this really handy. I like that this is an easy option, and you can even actually use your shortcut to start and stop recording right from the shortcut key. So yeah, there's some great options here with recording. You can of course see the time code, you can see how long you've been recording, and you can format your card as well right from the menu. One thing to take note of, if you don't format the SD card before recording, you'll have to open the files with VLC Player, not QuickTime, so it's a little bit inconvenient. So just take note of that. If you want to open your files a little bit easier, I would format it for Exfat. You don't have to, just something to take note of. Next on the menu is modes, and this basically allows you to cut directly by touching the screen between different camera angles or by using the T-bar. Personally, I like being able to use the T-bar because I like to see what's previewed. I like to see the green square and then send it live, and that just to me is a nice way to navigate how I send the different angles live. If you like to just touch and have everything go live right away, there you have that option. On the Mini Pro settings, you've got your typical, you know, content, your language, device version, input information, IP settings, color settings, all kinds of different things that are more just kind of maintenance or functional aspects of the switcher. Nothing you really ever need to access other than maybe your IP settings when you're trying to set up and connect your PTZ camera, but for the most part you don't ever really need to go into that. They have a logo option here which I think would allow you to add a logo to this. I'm not sure how to do that exactly yet. It's kind of a little bit confusing to me, not sure what you do for the logo edition, but it does look like that would be an option. And in streaming you can choose your bit rate, you can choose how you want the format to be, if you want a vertical or horizontal, and then you got your URLs if you want to go into a cloud base for streaming. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure how you use that. There are some instructions in the manual that kind of walk you through how to set that up. My guess is most people are going to use OBS or Zoom or Wirecast, something else to stream directly to, so I'm not going to be using that, but they have that in the menu setting if you are wanting to do something like that. So would I recommend something like the RGBlink Mini Pro? The fact that it has all these inputs, it has these different options on the front of the screen. You have a built-in LCD monitor. It's basically a video switcher, a PTZ controller, and a video monitor all in one setup. It's built well. It just does the job. I've been very happy with it. I think it is worth the investment. I think it's worth you checking out. If you're on a budget and you want something that will still do the trick and do it well, then the RGBlink Mini Pro will do that for you. Alright guys, the link for this is down in the description area below. Please check that out. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'd be happy to answer those for you. If you're looking for a good PTZ camera, then check out this video. This is my favorite PTZ camera on the market right now. I think that's it. I hope you guys found this helpful. I put a lot of time into this video, so please subscribe. That would make my day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.